Welcome, everyone.
We are.
We're here. We made it. We made it. It's July 13th. I don't know what day it is for you, but it is a full moon. Matt, how you doing?
Doing okay. Hanging in there.
Hanging in there, right? As we say in the South, hanging in there like
There's
a hair
less.
in a biscuit.
There's less of me than last show we did together.
Less of you. You had a surgery and you had
Gallbladder out
gallbladder out
yesterday.
So that shows commitment, guys. If you're wondering where he was and if he's willing to join us back, it's true. And there he is. So glad that you're here. The show's not the same without you. Those of us who joined last week know that I kind of wander off, trail off, and I don't completely know what I'm doing, nor can I keep in line with the chat. So it is so nice to have your presence back and to have your objective, empirical, masculine perspective on the astrology. That is why I think we balance each other out well here on Astrology and Alchemy. It's every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard on Odyssey Radio, the Paranormal Channel, Autumn Moon Astrology. You can find it on Paranormal Sarah. You can find it anywhere. Man, anywhere. So should we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Okay, guys, we've got kind of a crazy week ahead. And today, like I had mentioned, it is a full moon in Capricorn. If you follow along on our social media, we posted today how to use it. The full moon in Capricorn, Venus in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius, Mercury in Cancer, Uranus in Taurus. We talked all about it today on the social media. You can go there. You can check it out for free. It is a big day. Full moon energy is always crazy energy. Waxing, bursting, releasing, cutting cords. I feel lighter, but we're going to start with Thursday. And we're going to go right into it. Two things happen tomorrow. We're going to wake up tomorrow. We're going to be thinking it's Wednesday. It's not. It's going to be Thursday, July 14th. And the very first thing that happens is Venus in Gemini. And it squares off with Neptune in
Your
Pisces.
favorite.
I know. I hate it. Neptune in Pisces. So when you see that, Matt, take us down that realm. What do you think?
Well, square is conflict, so the one's in the way of the other. So Neptune is dreamy. It's kind of, I always say it's kind of foggy. So what you see isn't necessarily what you get. It can be deceptive. And it's in its home sign in Pisces. So this is kind of like squaring it all. The energy is very strong. So it's this deep introspective energy, but it can be wrong because it's in Neptune. Neptune's delusional and dreamy, but also delusional. So here you have romance in Venus and Gemini, which is a very extroverted, social, communicative space being opposed by deception. So I view this as the energy tomorrow will be really strong towards misreading communications and maybe social overtures from people. So things that you may think, are they hitting on me, or is this kind of? It's probably not. So don't read into things romantically tomorrow.
Deeper meanings. I love this because fantasy and desire is what I had sketched out for my month ahead when I did my monthly meditation on each day. I put to be cautious of what is fantasy, what is reality, what is a desire, what are those sourced on. And then today we had hit on how to use desire and company in like your magical space and application. So understanding, are they flipping me off? What are they saying? Is this like, what are we doing? Like read between the lines, guys. Like what? It's going to be interesting tomorrow morning. And that's not the only thing that's happening. That's happening. What am I doing? It's not the only thing that's happening. The moon that is now waning after tonight's full moon. Don't forget, it's not too late to go dance naked. You can do it. I know I will be.
Charge crystals.
Charge your crystals. Get your water out. Shake your stuff.
Right,
clean your
moon
house.
water.
Moon will enter Aquarius. In Aquarius, is. So it's going to be the moon waning in Aquarius tomorrow evening after those misread romantic signs. What does that say to you, Matt, when you
The
see that?
moon emotional energy, it changes about every 2.5 days. So now your emotional energy is going to move from kind of status and accomplishment drive to Aquarius is kind of rebellious, so wanting to change the rules. There is a little bit of I consider it kind of hippie-ish, make the world a better place energy to it, but it's all about change and transition and kind of out of the box. So yeah. So if you want to initiate
Dream,
changes,
dream,
you'll have some
dream.
tailwinds behind you to help do that.
Ooh, I like that. Tailwind. I had put drafting, which neurolinguistically, I think of street racing, I think of drafting, I think of drafting a sketch, drafting something out, a first draft, a rough draft, the draft or a draft of wind. This, what makes a house a home? There's these little differences, these little subtleties that these changes I think are going to be very meaningful, especially tomorrow. Take a moment to notice those things, think about them, use them in your meditation. Then it'll be a Friday. What are you doing? What are your plans for Friday? Do you have any weekend plans, Matt?
I don't have huge ones because I'm recovering, so I still can't, you know,
Rest.
I'm up and functional, but I'm not like real functional. I'm not like running marathons or anything. So I'll take it
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. Take it easy, resting, relaxing. I know a lot of us across the United States have had some really crazy storms, wild flooding, flash flooding, storms, tornadic weather here where I'm at in northern Minnesota, like the southern Canadian border. There's like really crazy wind damage, electrical outages. So I'm excited to see, knowing that there's this going from water cancer into like airish fire, hot, hot winds. You kind of get an idea of what that does. And if you kind of see the patterns in sociology, you see. But Friday, something is going to happen that I feel like, okay, it's the 15th. Maybe it's going to be payday for people. It's halfway through the month. It's going to be that, oh my God, the summer's halfway over. People are going to say that to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how does that work? Well, the moon is going to be waning in Aquarius, but then get out your pens and paper and look at this. It's conjunct Saturn in Aquarius.
Ooh,
Ooh, right? Um, and hi, Turtle. Hi, Debbie, Matt, Mary Beth, all of you guys, welcome in the chat. Be sure and say hello. Matt, what do you see when you think of the moon in Aquarius conjunct Saturn in
well,
Aquarius?
Saturn's rules. So think of the rings and restrictions. So it's kind of like the killjoy of the zodiac. And we already covered Moon in Aquarius. So Aquarius is kind of the rebel. So I view Saturn and Aquarius. It's a weird combo. So I view this as energy to change the rules, kind of mix things up. So conjunct is combining. So in this rebellious space, you're combining your emotional energy with these rules and restrictions. So um, yeah, I view this as kind of emotionally acting out, emotionally pushing against rules. So you may see just some kind of rebellious outbursts of um, things pushing people pushing against certain things out there and stuff. So it would be emotionally driven.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is going to be a little bit of rebellious energy on Friday.
Saturn and Aquarius, which, if you are someone who's, well aware of the news or things happening in the world space, today Saturn shifted in Aquarius as well with some of the moon energies. So, whatever happened today in the news, what things you're seeing happening right now in the headlines. So, like after the show, don't pause it now. Wait till we're over. We're almost over. Not all the way, but you know what I mean. Just a few more minutes. Not so long, just an hour, just under. But after the show's over, look at the headlines. Use this moment right now, whatever's happening right now, today, the 13th, on July 15th, 2 days from now, it's going to shake again. I like that you used the word killjoy. In my meditation space, I used tantric tantrum.
Hmm.
Tantric tantrum. So it's kind of like this killjoy.
That is kind of the word that's coming through to me, though. I'm picturing like just people emotionally acting out, but it's like 2-year-old acting out. It's not. I see a lot of that on Friday.
Well, that
So it's just like stupid. It's like
juxtaposition.
stupid acting out. It's not like we're going to change the world. It's just these like emotional outbursts because they're frustrated with things.
It's so
They need a
weird.
Snickers bar. The world's going to need a Snickers bar on Friday if you saw
Angry.
those commercials. Yeah, it's
Yeah. People just need to chill out, man. It's the revitalists is kind of what was playing in my mind. The Holy Ghost, people killing things because of the Holy Ghost. This juxtaposition of of pain and pleasure
so
and like spectrums, but
let me try to explain this because I don't know if some things I'm seeing in some of the chats, and just so you know, like depending on what format you're on, that all the chats can see each other. But I just want to clarify why I'm kind of going in this route is where Saturn moves very slowly. So you have this Aquarius and Saturn, this kind of rebellious space for a long time. The moon moves very, very quickly. And so this moon emotional energy is kind of fleeting. So this is not a staying power Aquarius conjunct energy. Like if this was Mars in Aquarius conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, this would be go out and totally break the rules and tear things down. This is the moon in Aquarius, which is very quick. It's going to be out of Aquarius again in like 2 days. So this is like just people acting out very, very quick, emotional. That's why I'm saying it's more tantrumish, like
mhm.
speaking out against the world. There's no staying power to what's going to happen on Friday with this.
Yeah. And so that's good to know. If you feel a ripple of that, or you're the one, trying to drag your toddler through the Mall of America, hang in there. It's not going to be forever. Katie in the chat room said, "I see the Georgie Porgy, puddin' and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. But when the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy, he ran away." And that is, it won't last. It will be fleeting. And so, kind of use that time and space accordingly. Now, two things are going to happen on Saturday. So, depending on how you use Friday's energy, and write it down, take a moment, use your intuition. There's no rush. Pause the show if you need to. Two things are going to happen on Saturday. So, the first, let me put it here in the chat room for those of us who are writing this down and getting ahead of ourselves. The first thing that's going to happen on Saturday is the sun will be in Cancer. Ah, Cancer season. Okay. The sun will be in Cancer and it'll be conjunct Mercury in Cancer. Ooh.
Is it still Friday or
This is Saturday
is it
morning.
Saturday morning now? Okay.
Yeah.
Why'd you go, ugh?
Well, a Cancer season has been, and this last week, I don't know about you, terribly emotional. I kind of get to watch it working in social work and in crisis, but then also doing psychic work on the side and like my own psychic research and stuff. I watch and I see like it was a huge flood of romantic life transition. It was, I want a divorce. I'm moving out. I'm done with this. Straw that broke the camel's back, but in ways of deep relationships, siblings, throwing out children,
Hmm.
just things crumbling in a really dramatic way, and big life decisions made out of emotion. A lot of crying, a lot of emotion.
But yeah, that's consistent with Cancer.
Cancer, that's why.
But I would say Cancer is still. Well, that's interesting what you're describing because Cancer. I always view Cancer as very stable, but it is a cardinal sign, so it moves things. So it will shake
It's shaking it,
it
baby.
will shake shit up to achieve that position of stability. So if someone needs to kick everybody out of their house to feel more secure and more stable, they're going to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, the crab moves up sand
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
out of the ocean as it rises.
And
You
so
got
this energy might not help that then because this is again conjunct. So you're combining. So this is Sun, your external self, and thoughts and communication combining in this security stable space. So much to your point, the action's going to the walk's going to match the talk. It's going to be what's going to get communicated. It's going to match this whole strive for stability. So more people might get told, hey, in order for me to feel stable, I need to kick your ass out, or it could be the opposite. In order for me to feel stable, let's move in together. It could be either way. So
could be either
but
way.
the communication, the nice thing about, at least what I like, I'm an order, I kind of like order. um it's consistent. So the words and thoughts from Mercury are going to be at least aligned with what's happening with the Sun and Cancer. So this isn't going to be one of these where you're getting mixed messages. What you're going to hear is real. So
That's important to remember.
I'd rather get real, true information, so I know how to deal with it than um, BS information.
I'm putting all these notes down for my notes and the things that I share out on our social media, guys. Don't forget to follow. It's free. I had written down Willy Wonka. I can see you. I can see you. Are you doing okay? You're doing good, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry if you guys
No.
this just started. I'm getting these jabs in my chest, and
Yeah.
so if I come up short talking, that's what's going on. So I'm okay. Let's keep
Yeah.
going.
Your vessel was in surgery
Yeah,
yesterday, so
it's
you're pushing it, and we
it's
appreciate
rebelling a little
that.
more today than it did yesterday. So.
Ah, cancer season! He's feeling it right up in his left dorsal muscle there. There we go. So anyway, we're patient. But I'm hearing the cakes version of "I Will Survive," and I'm Willy Wonka. Diddle-a-loo, diddle-a-loo-diddle-a-loo. Switch that, reverse it. Like in that moment where he's like, "What just happened?" Like, "I can't pull over any further." Like this very emotional, like, "You can't go anymore." It's going to be quite important. But then one more thing happens on Saturday night. Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. Got some money because I just got paid. And you will have because it'll be the 15th. Ah, but the moon will enter Pisces. Waning, emptying into water on water on water. What do you think when you see that?
Well, Pisces is it's the last sign, so I always say kind of deathbed perspective. So this is it's more. Um, I say sacrificial, but I really don't mean so much that. It's kind of like more like I'm at the end, so more giving your thoughts to how things impact other people than yourself because you're kind of not in the game much longer. I'm figuratively speaking.
Hmm.
Um, so in this case, it's emotional, it's introspective, but it's also kind of focused elsewhere. So this could be kind of a positive thing too, coming out of the earlier communications on Saturday. So if people align and do their that Mercury Sun Cancer conjunct stuff, the
Hmm.
emotional piece will come afterwards, where other people might be looking to take care of the emotional needs of others from the fallout from all that. So it's kind of
Well,
I usually picture nurturing more as a Cancer thing, but kind of based on what we've been talking about, this might actually be more of like a nurturing energy here.
and what I'm appreciating is that the water kind of moving in. I was talking today about, when you have that vessel or that crack or that hole, immediately energy takes the path of least resistance and it will find its way there. So you don't have to do too much if you can just shift a little. So your language, even in Fallout, like some of this kind of language of hindsight, perspective, deathbed, like end of life, ability to see beyond self. This is like agape love, the Greek love, bigger than self, bigger than me or you or us. The bigger picture in the archetype wheel, it would be the everyone or the everyman. So lots of water, water on water Saturday. So that will be probably continued emotions. If you've got a teenager in the house, look out. You're going to continue to have, if you have a lot of females around you, look out. I say that with all the love in the world. As a woman, it's going to be a lot of emotions on hot air, hot air and water. And so, what do you get with that? You get bubbly volcano, the vents of how life is created down there in like the Mariana Trench and stuff. But then we go, okay, take a step back, even bigger. 7/17/2022. It'll be Sunday, spiritual Sunday. It'll be a great day. What's going to happen? We wake up. What are oh, Venus is in Cancer. Venus in Cancer. Mm, more water. What do you
Mm-hmm.
see with that, Matt?
Well, again, Venus can also be financial, but usually talk about this in the emotional space, and so, or the romantic space. And so we talked a little bit about Cancer before. So Cancer is stability, security. So this is going to be romantically, people are going to want to feel secure. Um, and since Cancer is a cardinal sign, so it does move forward. If you think about a crab moves forward by going sideways. So this isn't necessarily direct action. So I would look for people looking for relationship reassurance. And since the crab doesn't go necessarily direct, this could be tests or maybe not clear questions or communications that are kind of thrown out there as a way to validate that reassurance that there is stability in the relationship. So just keep your eyes and ears out open for that.
You even love me.
Yeah, it's not going to be. That's why I like, even though Cancer isn't direct, that's why I like the Mercury conjunct with it, because I feel you're going to get more direct with that. This won't be so direct. This will be seeking relationship reassurance, but I almost view as like tests. You know, if you really loved me, you would have X, but if you're not
Yeah, no,
a
I don't want
migrator, you
anything.
never would have
It's
known.
fine.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be blubbery. And again, I say that with the utmost of love, as Turtle Dove in the chat is saying, universal post-menstrual syndrome. Yes, PMS of everyone. And this is not just a feminine thing. It is a feminine trait, but we say this in that it's yin energy. Men will be feeling this too, and maybe just not feeling with their man box capable of showing it. So maybe anger, rage, outbursts, that tantrum. So this is Sunday morning. Maybe this is the I just had a dream that you cheated on me. Is it true? Like it's gonna be a maybe a right? What? And so you wake up to this nonsense after a crazy 3 weeks anyway, and something happens. Two more things happen on Sunday. The next thing that's going to happen is what? More water? Yeah. The sun in Cancer trine Neptune in Pisces.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So this is again that um, external externalized energy and trying a synergy, having so that externalized energy, wanting stability, security, um, very emotional. Again, it's water, having synergy with Neptune, which is deceptive, delusional, foggy in its home sign of Pisces. So this is, and I'm not liking how this is setting up now. This is now I'm looking for that emotional reassurance in things, and I'm misreading crap. So now, if I'm looking for stability, the signs that I'm looking for that stability, I am misreading. So that could go either way. I could be finding security where it isn't, or I could be feeling insecurity where it is and causing unnecessary problems. So I know I say this a lot, but this is another one of those days where trust but verify, don't make assumptions, because whenever you got Neptune involved, assumptions generally will be wrong. And this is a bad, since it's so much water and it's Cancer, and this is really set up to like misread, and like you could stir up lots of problems here with us.
Lots of problems. Lots of problems could get stirred. It's funny in my meditation I put the broken lighthouse on a storm is kind of what I was seeing. And I put grounding and tools for water, like using crystals that don't have ite, which is interesting because, the Vikings were known to use a sunstone or a calcite stone, which would refract light in such a way on their compass that even in a storm or cloudy weather where they couldn't see, or if it was, they couldn't see the stars, they could see light reflecting and refracting and be able to use this. But ites really shouldn't be near water. You really shouldn't take your crystals, your fluorites, and wash them in your moon water. It's not good for them, and it begins to break down their structure. And interesting to me that this water on water, this trust but verify, and then probably do it again because someone's going to be like, no, I don't want anything. It's fine. And you're like, really? Yes. But really? Yeah, I really said that. It's like, yeah, but like this is really going to get emotional. And then that's not the only thing that happens on Sunday.
And I just want to add really quick, because I'm not crapping on Cancer. They're like one of my favorite signs, but these are bad. These are
Well,
bad combos
yeah, the
for
combos.
that need for security. These are like bad combos for what drives Cancer. So it's not necessarily a Cancer problem. These are just not real good combinations this week.
Right? Well, let's add the cherry on top.
I
Let's
love
add
it.
the cherry on top. Also known as a powdered covered turd, also called a donut, but it's Mercury in Cancer trine Neptune in Pisces on Sunday night.
Okay.
More
So
water on
then,
water.
so basically, what's going to happen is you're going to have those trust, or you're going to have those tests, or those reaching out to get security on Saturday, which is then going to lead to misreading things on Sunday morning, which then it's going to percolate with people during the day on Sunday, which is going to lead to later on Sunday night, since Mercury's communication and Neptune is, again, kind of misreading. It's going to lead to misread communications. So people are going to want to talk about the other things during the weekend, and then they're going to misread that crap. As well as there'll be new ones. There'll be new communications that'll get misread. But I mean, this whole thing's just building towards a giant snowball. It's like a, you know, Scooby Doo episode with the snowball rolling down the hill and everybody's getting caught in it.
This is a web. This is a web of sticky ROUSs. This is fire coming up and biting you in the ass of like, I see the scene in The Replacements with Keanu Reeves where they're sitting in the backup room about to go out. It's halftime. They're having a breakdown. And the guy's like, I feel like we're in quicksand. They're talking about, well, what's quicksand? Quicksand on the field, coach? And he's like, no, what's quicksand? Quicksand is when one thing goes wrong and the other thing, and it's like your worst fear. And what are your fears? And spiders on the field. And like, it's this really funny scene, and it is funny, but it's not funny because this quicksand moment, this web of nonsense, really is what it's going to be. Don't get involved in it. Don't. Oh my God, did you hear what Sheila said about John said about Wendy and then how they're all going to get fired? We should go to HR. Don't. Don't. Don't get involved. Step away. Do that moment and I can't. Must solar flare and cut out. Pull a Chevy Chase, man.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
Yes,
Sarah and
this
Matt.
this is a, if you have to fake having a stomach bug this weekend and just shield yourself from people.
Oh, Matt, you just had
Just make
surgery.
sure you don't put out on Instagram then 2 hours later, that because then you'll end up fulfilling this whole thing. You
Don't.
told me you had a stomach bug, and then I saw you at such and such.
You're
So
gonna push
you
yourself
got to be
too
smart about
up.
this. But
Oh. In fact, I do look at the stars and I think it really doesn't matter what we try to do. It's going to be a misread
yeah,
communication. So just be ready for it. Matter
yeah,
of fact, if you have one of those shows where it's like a clusterfuck show, put up an extra camera because you just want to get an extra angle for this one. It's going to happen. It's going down like Funky Town, which is exciting, I think, for on a personal level. But then also you expand it out. Like, what does that mean for your community? What does that mean for your state? What does that mean for your politics of your country? What does that mean for the world? I fully believe this is like somebody giving the wrong codes in like the fog of war. Like, who's got the code? I don't know. He said he had them. Said it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, what?
yeah,
It's not funny.
yeah.
But it kind of is because it's so stupid. Anyway, it's going to be one hell of a Sunday.
This is like I don't know if I hate, because I don't want to add fuel to this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like there was that little like nuclear PSA that went out, I guess, in New York.
In New
It's like something
York?
like that coming out, and then all of a sudden everybody freaking, because again, security. Oh my god! And then like, just it's going to be stuff like that. Like people are just going to feel very insecure, and
That
then
happened
do people do
today.
dumb? Do people do dumb? It's funny because there's a totally different front, totally different thing, not related to anything we're talking about here. But I've been using this phrase a lot in the last like 2 weeks. Don't do something dumb long term over short term pain, because I've
Yeah.
seen that happen a lot. Because there's weird stuff going on in the world right now, But a lot of these weird things going on aren't things that are going to be around for like 3 or 4 or 5 years. So don't do
Yeah,
something
chill.
stupid just because the pain's right now. I can't elaborate on what that's about. It would make more sense if I did, but it's been a common theme, and I'll say that over this weekend. Don't over insecurity. Don't do, don't sign up for some $400 a month
You know what?
security system
Whatever.
because you thought you
Don't.
saw some creeper outside your door. Just
Just chill.
think stuff through. Think things
Think
through.
it through. Calm down. Write it down. Okay. Now, so we can fully expect this to go down this weekend for ourselves and those around us, regardless of a whole lot that we try and do, but we can do some collateral damage minimization. But my favorite part, because I do look ahead, I do cheat, Matt. Matt doesn't, but I did. I meditated on this and I already went, oh, pucker up. Because Monday, something crazy happens. Mercury in Cancer, opposite Pluto and Capricorn.
Yeah. I was going to say, one reason why I wing it is one, because you do the prep stuff, and two, I feel I give better things. Even when we do like those tests,
It's
where we've
improv.
messed around with like reading, like, what picture you hold up a picture and what, like, I always do better the less time I spend on it. So, all right. So these are opposite. Opposite's not what you would think. It's not necessarily um, conflict. It's tension. So it's that kind of opposites attract tension piece. So whenever you have the signs that are opposite of each other, it's almost like they complete each other. That's why there's the tension. The one sign has, but the other sign lacks, and vice versa. So
Hmm.
in this case, you have Mercury, thoughts, and communication in this seeking security, seeking stability, with Pluto, the big impersonal, which I'll get to that. Capricorn, the Cancer. So again, think Cancer, stability, security. Capricorn's that goat scurrying up the mountainside where it could fall off and tumble to its death, wanting to achieve, achieve, achieve. So you have, I want to be in my safe space, or I want to be in my comfort zone, is what I wanted to say. In my comfort zone versus constantly wanting to shoot out from my comfort zone to achieve, 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 achieve. That's kind of the tension here between the two. Um, Also, Cancer, again, very emotional, very emotionally nurturing. Capricorn's kind of, and I can say this because I am one, kind of, it's a little bit of rep being the asshole of the zodiac, of just not very emotional, not very, just get shit done. So you have these thoughts and communication in this emotional space, having tension with the universe, because Pluto's the last planet. It's impersonal. These are big, profound, impersonal change. Pluto doesn't care in this kind of achievement success area. So these are big changes going on in the world that are going to kind of rattle and create tension with people's emotional security. So this is just yet another cherry on top of what's looking like an emotional shit show this weekend. And so people are going to now want to start communicating about that, of like, oh my God, this stuff's happening. And so, like you said, the nuclear, the nuclear PSA, you know, so this could be
Hi.
something like the government comes out and says, hey, maybe there is a chance we're going to get, it's going to
Have
be
you ever wondered what it means to
some
see a
big
bright light?
change that nobody can do a damn thing about, that's going to rattle people's sense of security, and there'll be a lot more chatter about security, security, security. So I will say, look for, is this Monday? This is Monday,
This is
right?
Monday morning.
Yeah. So look for, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big news story on Monday that rattles people.
Big time.
That's I haven't made any predictions yet this week. That'll be my prediction. Big thing, gonna rattle people.
Well, and on Monday morning, it's funny because I had written in my meditation, I was seeing Vanna White walking across the stage, turning the old school Wheel of Fortune. It's a phrase. Dee doo dee dee. Comfort zone out. And it was like, yay. Where like in my mind, that's what I saw. And I wrote that down, and comfort zone out. Comfort zone, comfort zone, zone. That's an interesting word. I'm not entirely sure what that word means or where it comes from. That's a unique word. Zone out, comfort zone out. Like that whole phrase, all parts of that phrase, all pieces of how that is broken. Someone in the chat room saying, man, I see nesting and tornadoes. Someone else said, yeah, Pluto got booted out of planet status because they didn't pay their union dues. This is true. There was a 10-year thing follow up and they didn't get it in the mail because Pluto doesn't care if you got it or not. It's going to happen. So it's going to
Doesn't
be
give a shit what you call it.
It does not give a shit.
Still gonna move its stuff.
It's still happening. And then on Monday afternoon, one more thing is going to happen in the astrology. And this is how I kind of know. And we get an idea of, okay, something is going to shake, rattle, and roll after we've had an emotional weekend, a crazy Sunday. And maybe not us completely personally because you took our advice and you planned ahead and you stayed in and you didn't dig into it. And someone was like, do you even love me? And you were like, here, I already bought ice cream. Let's chill out. It's a crazy day. Me too. Let's cry together. You made it work. You dodged that bullet. And then you woke up, but then people were like, oh my God, all around you. And so you're like, yep, there it is. It still happened to me anyway. It was other people. But Monday morning, this shit show on the headlines. But it didn't copy and paste the way I needed, so it's going to be more of a dramatic pause. But then, da, 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 copy and paste. There it is. Oh no. There it is. Give it to us Monday night. Oh yeah. The moon enters Aries.
All right. So after all these things, I'm almost feeling like that old story. The little old lady that swallowed the fly and swallowed the spider. Like,
what you doing?
I can't even keep it straight going back all these things, but this is all just a crap show domino thing. So after all this emotional stuff's going on, all these tests, you failed the test. Now I feel romantically insecure, or I feel insecure here, or I need security here. Then the big thing happens Monday that rattles everybody's world. Now your emotional moon enters impulsive, screw it, just do it, aggressive. Our time frame is days, not weeks, not months, not years, just impulsive. So now we're going to channel all that energy into emotional impulsivity, which again, it's a good thing because it's moon. So, moon is energy is fleeting. So it's not going to be long-term stuff, but look for, again, more acting out, maybe Monday night. It'll probably go into Tuesday, but yeah, these aren't good combos.
What frustrates you? Write it down right now. If you've got something that's really bothering you, maybe this person isn't talking the way you want. Maybe this person isn't paying the rent the way you'd like. Maybe this person isn't touching you the way you need. Maybe your child isn't listening and doing their chores the way you've asked. Maybe your job isn't answering their emails. Maybe your car isn't working the way it should. Whatever that thing is.
I honestly didn't look ahead, but the cherry, probably the worst thing that could come after this, if there's any other moves, is if you go ahead and give me something with Taurus and Uranus. Because that would be the next thing of just screw it. I'm just going to indulge in like bad stuff. Like that would be like just finally at the end of this all, just like screw it. I'm going to like do some meth or something.
You know what? Now that you mention it. Yeah, you keep saying F off. You keep saying, oh, yeah. You keep calling me an asshole. You keep saying you'd like to just screw it. Well, guess what? You know what? Guess what? That's what this is. Be careful. Careful what fires you light. On Monday, it might blow up in your face. So, how do we know exactly what's going to happen? How do we know what vibes are really going to be out there? We take a step back, and we're a little early on this one, so that's exciting because very rarely do we actually have time to chat on the show, so we'll chat as long as we can. But the last two movements, and they happen on Tuesday, it'll be the end of the week as we do it. It'll be Tuesday, and the first thing that happens in the morning after all this craziness is Mercury, planet of communication, enters Leo.
Thoughts and communication. Leo is
fire. Spilling into fire.
Leo likes, I don't want to say, I'm going to say Leo's all about Leo, but there's some corollaries to that. But Leo likes attention. Leo likes the spotlight. So this is going to be thoughts and communications that's going to draw attention to oneself. I know he's not a Leo, but I always go back and say, to me, the typical Leo personality, if I had to describe one, would have been Trump. Although I found out he was a Gemini, which totally still kind of blows me away. But I guess a Leo rising. But I'm a Leo rising, so I don't find that. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not comforted with that bit of knowledge. So yeah. So I thoughts and this is thoughts and communication that I would say would want to draw attention. Leo's like the spotlight. Leo's like attention.
This is I see the scene of, so Sunday night, this kind of craziness. Monday, the real pow, pow in the headlines. And you know what? Fuck it then. You know what? If you're going to say that, you're going to scream at me. This whole weekend's been crazy. You know what? I'm just going to go out and do it. You do the thing. This is that Tuesday morning. I think of the scene in The Breakup where she comes in and like they're seeing each other at their worst, but they're also seeing each other at like their worst, dealing with something very, very intimately painful and vulnerable. And like the eye contact while strippers are walking around and you're drinking and you're like, yeah, this is me. This is me hovering over the toilet, puking my guts out because I went and did it, or getting arrested, punching that person, losing your shit, attacking the neighbor, wrecking the car. You know what? Yeah, I am an asshole. You want to see me be an asshole? Watch this. And you go outside and you just blow something up. This is that vibe. It's just a Tuesday morning. But Leo doesn't care what day it is. I don't care what day it is. I don't care that you have to work. This is me. The ritual suggestion is know how to bite your tongue. If you're a lion, know how to bite your tongue. The predator, know how to bite your tongue. That'll be very important. But one more thing is going to happen on Tuesday, which gives us an idea of whoever it is that's guilty, whether it's, crazy Biden headlines or crazy Nancy Pelosi headlines or crazy Megan Fox headlines. Who knows what the headlines are going to be? It's going to be something relevant in all areas of life. But you know what? On Tuesday, that person's going to go, yeah, guilty as charged. Because you know what? Now, think of how that's going to go down. Because on Tuesday night, Sun is in Cancer. Oh, what? Yeah, the Sun's in Cancer, and it's opposite that Pluto in Capricorn space.
Okay, so this is gonna be very similar to what I had said earlier with Mercury in Cancer. So as we're just taking communications about the secure. So I'm just gonna go with whatever happened on Monday. That big change that rattled everybody is gonna look even worse on Tuesday, and move people from talking about it to actually like internalizing it more, because now it's into the sun, your external self. So people may be doing actions. Maybe it's going to feel more real. So whatever this news event is, this big and personal change that's going to threaten people's security, it's going to start Monday or maybe even late Sunday night, but it's going to carry through at least a couple days. So this will go at least through Tuesday. But that's it. It's the tension. It's the tension of these big, profound changes rattling security. Is what this tells me.
When I meditated on this, I put the threat is sinking in. And sink was the word. Because I felt like I was seeing the Titanic of like, oh, she's the unsinkable. Like, what do you mean she's the unsinkable? And like, we didn't even put enough life things on it because it would make the decks look like shit. And it's like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me worst case scenario is hundreds of people die? Yeah, but that's, not going to happen. And that moment where you are not a woman and child, or you're not able to get to the boats and you realize they're all gone and the boat is sinking and the, okay, I don't have to run to a boat. I have to figure out how to survive. This isn't about getting to a lifeboat. This is, how do I survive?
Mm-hmm.
Like, whoa, this isn't, is the commercial real? Is that a joke? This is, could I even do that if it wasn't? This is going to be a very interesting introspective shake moment. I also cannot help but hear the great and incestual Jerry Lee Lewis singing in my mind, which I also see Winona Ryder, which makes me wonder like how that's playing into things because I'm not caught up on Stranger Things. But when you think about this politically, or when you kind of let this marinate in your mind, what do you think it's going to be? How do you think this will play out?
Well, I pulled a card just to say, and I got King of Wands.
Okay.
And so since wands are fire, and I was already kind of thinking this,
You
I'm
think this
still
is going to be when Trump dies?
oh, I didn't think of that. That could be. Well, I didn't predict a death. I predicted he was going to have a medical
Stroke.
thing that would keep him out of the political spotlight. That he wouldn't want to be seen in cameras anymore. But I was also thinking, as far as rattling, I mean, that could rattle people's security. I didn't even think of that. If something happened to him, so that could be one. I was also thinking because of the fire with the wands and the King of Wands thing. I was wondering if there was going to be some more saber rattling and craziness coming out of Putin.
For sure. For sure. I don't ever expect that to quiet down. I'm afraid to look behind me at my predictions. We did that prediction show back in January. You guys can always go look at it and listen to it. I
Sadly, I
put
said, and we look like we're on track on this. I said something, the Trump medical thing would be July, August. We would end up getting pulled into a war in November, looking more like it would be this war. And economy collapses in December.
I am really proud of myself. I put indigenous genocide. I put something special, gunshots on the 7th, gunshots, gunshots, pill switch, heavy heart, the 12th CERN space synergy, heads swinging. I put heads swinging
Hmm.
this weekend. I wonder what that means. I get like Henry VIII. I don't know. I don't know. You guys, for those of you doing divination and intuitive, you know, practice, let us know. Put in the chat rooms. What do you think this is going to pan out to be? What do you think this means? And since we have 5 more minutes before we have to disconnect, 5 more minutes here before the end of the show, and that's the Astrology and Alchemy here every week. If you guys have any remaining questions about the week or about astrology or alchemy specifically, let me know what you think. Queen says, man, I still have my notes from that
That's
January
awesome.
show. Get them out. I love seeing how stuff pans out. Has any of your stuff panned out, Matt?
That from the January show, I think so.
Your Roe versus Wade.
Roe v. Wade. Actually, I said I know people can say there's what, but the day they went into Ukraine was the day I said there was going to be something that would profoundly change the trajectory of the United States. Which, I mean, we'll have to see how that plays out long term. But that was the day that they went into Ukraine. I did say I knew illness would arrive on the scene in May. We got monkeypox. We actually just got our first case of monkeypox in the county next to us, so that's still going out and around. So yeah, I've actually felt pretty good. I've been pretty close on them.
Yeah. And like Queen says in the chat, Matt, so accurate. It is scary. And that's what, okay. So
Which
this is
I just want to quick say, I wish I wasn't, because war in November and economic collapse in December sucks. So I actually would rather be wrong.
right. Right. Well, and that's kind of that the guilt or heaviness or the responsibility and accountability of the magnitude of suggestion, the power of suggestion, but also one's own skepticism because it's externally powerful and we know that it is. Thank you, Philip Experiment. You also know that it's internally relevant. So that skepticism of like, oh God, I don't know, it's fucking crazy. I can't say that out loud. That's crazy. I'm not going to say Roe versus what. I'm not going to like you ponder things so often that you don't write them down. You don't say it out loud because you think you're going to sound crazy. But then when it pans out and you're like, no way, did that happen? Did that happen? You have a skeptical, questioning moment of hesitation. And guess what? Had you sounded crazy, you'd be having a moment of validation instead. I like to provide validation instead of skepticism. And I also like to be very careful about what we manifest. Now, we are not manifesting that something happened just because we have an inkling that it will. This is knowing or sensing or using intuition to be like, this is kind of what I'm seeing. And I wonder what that means. Because a lot of times we don't even know in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. But when you do later get the validation, you can follow your gut, follow your intuitive like signs so much easier, I think. Anyway, yeah. So, you guys, we have that predictive show was so helpful. And for all of you guys in the chat room sharing your intuitive validations, thank you for sharing those opportunities with us. And don't ever be afraid. This is definitely a safe space for that sort of thing. We talk about all sorts of crazy things, alien invasions. Man, I think my predictions included all sorts of crazy stuff. So, for the record, Matt is extremely accurate. And we like to say that it's not only intuition, but it's being aware of how to use keen perception. And like astrology is a science, guys. It really is cool. So, if you guys have any questions or any remaining thoughts that you'd like to leave us with, or maybe predictions for the week ahead, I'm going to put in the chat room here where they can find us. But Matt, remind everybody, where can they find
Yes,
us?
and wherever you're watching us, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't. But Paranormal channel on YouTube, paranormalsarah.com. Your YouTube's Paranormal Sarah, or is it Sarah?
Yeah, yeah, Paranormal Sarah.
Paranormal Sarah YouTube. Sunday Night Dead on Facebook, Automoon Astrology on Facebook. You can email me at mslozer@yahoo. Also, yeah, Sunday Night Dead. I already covered that one. I think we got them all.
They're going to see you this
Audacity
Sunday for
Radio.
show, right? And
Yeah,
for those of you asking on our top 10s and our big hit lists for how to interpret the zodiac and music, we're really excited to bring you
we're
this
working on it.
series. We are working on
My
it.
medical stuff derailed us a little bit, but this was my last medical thing, hopefully. So
Well, and I had trees falling on my house and crazy, there's been all sorts of stuff. And you guys, we are kind of like in a world crazy place, but we are going to make sure and entertain you as best we can. So hopefully starting in August, you guys are going to see some added. Good Lord, you'd think I was having long haulers or a stroke. What is going on? I can't complete a sentence. It's my lack of coffee. No, that we're going to be adding our top 10s. We're going to be adding some pop ins for readings. So be sure and sign up for notifications, guys. Don't miss out. You don't want to miss out. Don't do it. All right, guys. Well, if there are no more questions that we're not answering directly or getting to you in a private message, let us know what your predictions are and be sure to join us next Tuesday here on Odyssey Radio, the Paranormal Channel, Astrology and Alchemy, and all the places you can find us. Tuesday, right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye bye.
Talk to you soon.